So thank you for joining me, Matt.
Absolutely.
Can you tell me where you grew up?
Yeah, so I'm from Nakusa, Wisconsin originally. I was born in Wisconsin Rapids, lived there for like maybe the first 4 or 5 years of my life, and then we ended up moving slightly south to Nakusa, so southern Wood County. I think we did because my dad was a police officer down in the town of Rome, which is kind of like within like the Nakusa school district, so we actually lived down in the town of Rome initially, but I was in the Nakusa school district from beginning to the end, basically.
Were your parents from the area?
Yeah, they were both Wisconsin Rapids natives as well.
Oh, they are.
So we didn't really move too far out of that.
So you grew up around your grandparents and cousins and stuff like
absolutely. That? Absolutely. Both my grandparents. I think, honestly, I forget. Like, I actually had to do, this would be interesting to you, like a family genealogy project, I think, in like 8th grade or 7th grade, freshman year of high school, maybe.
Really?
And we actually like went back like a couple generations or whatever, and I think it was back into the mid 1800s is when like the family on both sides kind of like ended up in central Wisconsin. So been around for a while.
So have you ever done research for their naturalizations and stuff? They must have.
I haven't really gone like that next step.
Here.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. It's one of those things I thought about. Like, I'm sure I still have that like project, like all the like names and stuff that we pulled up just kind of out of family records.
Oh, that's cool.
But someday.
So then you went to grade school in Nakusa?
Yep.
And you went to high school in Nakusa?
Yeah, kind of throughout the whole thing. And like I said, like we lived in Rome, Wisconsin, which is like a subsidiary. I mean, it's just outside of Nakusa, basically, but it's in the Nakusa school district. But we ended up moving into the city of Nakusa and want to say middle school years there. But it was Nakusa.
Is Rome? Throughout. How many people are in Rome?
I forget offhand. It's weird. It's almost a little bit more of a touristy type place. Like it's big. Really? Like it's got a couple like man-made lakes down there. And they get a ton of tourism. I mean, winter definitely, but definitely during the summer, like that's just big, kind of a boom. I mean, there's a bunch of golf courses down there now. Like,
really?
It's one of like the bigger or more, I would say, highly ranked public courses available in the U.S. It's Sand Valley down there. It's like,
wow,
they get all sorts of people. Like I've heard like Aaron Rodgers like flew in to play there a couple times, like back in the day.
Have you played there?
No, I have not. I mean, I'm a pretty avid golfer, but like that's way out of my price range for what I'm willing to hack around for. It's like, I think bare minimum you're looking to spend probably about $500 by the time you're done just to play around there, and that's like not tipping people and everything too.
Oh, I suppose, yeah,
because I think it's walking only, and like they require you to have a caddy too.
Oh my gosh!
So it's like then you got to pay on top of that.
Right.
So I was like, I'll just go and hack around at some other courses. That's fine.
Century's cheaper.
Yeah,
right?
I mean honestly, my nephew works at Century, so I could probably get like a discount there too. So it's probably more on my list than Sand Valley. But,
oh my god!
Yeah.
Did you use libraries when you were younger?
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely remember going to libraries a lot with my mom, especially. She's usually the one that took me there. But like even when I was in like grade school, I remember when we had to have library days, like I was kind of voracious with that, just like going after like all the books. Like, I feel like a lot of kids, like you kind of go through your different subject areas that you're really in. Like, one day it's sharks and the next week it's like weather and stuff. And so I just like, as all those nonfiction books for the most part, I was just kind of tearing through those typically. But I mean, even as I like continued to grow up, I was definitely still like making use of library material. So I feel like kind of set myself up for this career path without realizing it, maybe.
Right. Yeah. I mean, when you're comfortable in the library from the get-go, it helps. So what was high school like? Do a lot of sports?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of fun. I mean, like, even if I go, like, a little bit before, like, high school or whatever, like, I was kind of a little bit all over the board with stuff. By the time I was done with high school, I kind of ended up being a little bit more of, like, the jock type, I guess you could say. I was definitely into sports. I was on homecoming court, all that sort of jazz or whatever. But I definitely always felt like I was kind of, like, I related with everyone who I wasn't, like, just a jock. Because, like, middle school, I was kind of just more of, like, a weird kind of, maybe almost a little bit of a loner type. So I mean, I still like got along with like the guys that were just like playing D&D. Like I actually played D&D with a bunch of those guys too, still even in high school.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like a mixed bag for me. I was kind of eclectic, I guess, in that. But I mean, I got into sports eventually, and that ended up being a pretty big part of my identity. I would say I got introduced to that in middle school. Like, I mean, initially it was just football, and honestly, I think I went out for that more at like the behest of my dad than I did anything else. And like honestly, like for the first couple of weeks, like I hated that, and I was just like,
I don't want to do this.
No, I was like, God, this hurts. I was like, these older kids are picking on me. I was like, I'm not having a lot of fun, but I stuck it out. I think it was actually my mom. Like, she just yelled at me. She was getting tired of me complaining. She's like, if you don't want to do it, then quit. Otherwise, stop complaining about it. And I'm just like, okay, fine. I'll just shut up and do it. And eventually, like, I got through that and, like, again, started to have fun with it. It, like, wasn't, like, as scary anymore.
Right.
Like, I got in better shape, I guess, so it didn't hurt as much. But, yeah, so I kind of stuck around with football. And then, yeah, eventually I ended up doing track in high school as well, the throwing events. Yeah, that ended up being a big part of my personality, I would say.
What positions did you play in football?
Oh, I was lineman. So,
oh, really?
Yeah,
Offense?
offensive, defensive line. Yeah, for the most part. So I'd say mostly like tackle on offense and usually tackle on defense. I played a little defensive end by the time I was done in high school too. But yeah, always on the line for the most part.
I always thought defensive line, especially end, would be a fun position, right?
Right.
You're rushing.
Yeah.
Your goal is to plant the quarterback.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, it's funny. Absolutely. But, like, it's, I would say with end, it can be really a little deceptive in that because it's like you're not just necessarily just, like, you know, hell-bent on getting the quarterback. Like, you have to have, like, responsibility because you're kind of like the first line of contain on the outside.
Oh, that's true.
So, like, if you just, like, go, like, you know, 100% trying to get into the backfield every time, like, teams are going to figure that out and they're just going to go and run around you. So it's like our first thing was always kind of like try to establish kind of like a little like line of defense there a little bit, like kind of post up with whoever's blocking you and kind of like try to read what's going on. And then, yeah, if the quarterback's hanging out back there, then let's go. Otherwise, yeah, try to keep that contained, try to funnel everything back towards the inside of the field because once people get outside, it's like, good luck.
Yeah, they're off to the races.
Right.
I guess you first have to... you first got to see if it's a run or a pass,
right? Yeah.
And then kind of, I don't know.
Right, yeah, it is like, I would say that's probably like the biggest thing is just kind of having that awareness sort of, like wherever you're playing interior defensive line, like tackle, then it's more so like you're just kind of just taking
Trying
up
to get
space.
inside.
You're taking up space, trying to beat up blockers, but yeah, if you can get through and like disrupt stuff in the backfield, absolutely, but...
So how many tackles did you have?
Oh, God.
Do you remember?
I don't know. It wasn't a ton necessarily. I mean, I started full-time on offense for the most part. I wasn't always like a starter on defense. I do remember I had one sack, though. Like, I remember that vividly.
Yeah, I bet, yeah.
Right.
Did you ever get a fumble recovery ever?
Not in a varsity game.
Yeah.
Like, junior varsity games I did a couple times. Like, I happened to be in the right place at the right time. But yeah, I remember I had a chance. I remember one time to get a second sack, and like I was in the backfield. The quarterback is like kind of flailing around back there, and then he juked me out really good. Like he went and just like did like old pump fake on me, and I like jumped up like, oh yeah, I'm gonna swat that out of the air. And by the time I came back down, he ran past me. Looking on film later, I just look like a complete moron.
Yeah, that happens.
It was fun.
Who was your toughest team you played against?
Oh God, I mean, honestly, full disclosure, like we were awful in high school. In 2 years, we won one game, so it was pretty bad. My junior
That's
year,
what it sounds like when I played too.
Yeah, my junior year, we lost every game. I think it was the first winless season in Nakusa history.
Oh,
so
no.
we just like got like reamed for that pretty hard.
So every team was a hard team.
I mean, we played better against some teams. Obviously,
Yeah.
the teams that weren't as good, like we had a few ones that were close that we probably should have won. But,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, we got stacked up a lot of good teams in our conference that year. At that point, the South Central Conference that Nakusa was in. Had Lodi in it, which is kind of a perennial football powerhouse from down by Madison. Poynette was really good too. Like we played Poynette my junior year for homecoming, and they beat us 66-6. So they were winning 50-0 at halftime. So that was not a good environment. But yeah, I mean, a lot of good teams.
Nakusa's a larger school too, right?
Not. I mean, it was larger back then. Back when I was in school, we had about 500 for an enrollment. Now I think it's down to like 300.
Really?
Yeah, it's
I
definitely.
always thought it was way bigger than that.
No. It's I think Nakusa itself has like 2,200 people in it, and then it kind of pulls in, like I said, from Rome, some of these surrounding areas a little bit. But yeah, it's definitely like just dropped down a little bit from what it
Everybody's
used
moving
to be.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a paper mill town, so I mean,
Right.
that's part of it. The paper mill's still active. It's not like it's shut down like in
Yeah.
Rapids or Port Edwards yet, but yeah, just not quite as many people overall.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So in track, what were your expertise areas?
The throwing events. So shot and disc in high school.
No
Yeah.
javelin.
No, there's no javelin, no hammer throw, anything like that in Wisconsin high school. There's a
Okay.
few states like out east, I think, that have, or I think California might have javelin and stuff like that. But it's just, I mean, it's like enough of a safety liability with all these kids throwing shots and discs. Like you go and start
Right.
to spin around with a hammer, or like actually have people throwing spears around.
I
Like
know.
it's just, I can only imagine what it would be like. Yeah, so it was kind of funny. Like I really didn't have a ton of intention of joining track, but I got roped into it by a football coach. He was like a new it was my sophomore year of high school. He was a new teacher to the district. He came out to coach football, and then he got roped into coaching track because they needed like another coach. So he came up to me and one of my buddies. He's like, "Hey, you guys should come up for track too. Like, I don't know anyone on the team. It's like I just want a couple people that I know at least." And we're like, oh, okay, it's like fine, all right, we'll give it a try. And yeah, it ended up being kind of like my main sport by the time I was done, and then definitely into college. But.
So you weren't too keen on running ever?
No, not really. I mean, definitely. I mean, I don't think I would have really had the option to run necessarily. Like,
Oh, you already
we
had
were just
people in
like,
place.
yeah, well, right. It was just like, they saw us like, me and my buddy. Like, I mean, I was like 6'2", 230. He's like 6'4", probably like
Oh, wow.
270 or something. It's like, yeah, you're not going to be on the track. You're going to be throwing the heavy
Yeah,
stuff.
okay.
So it was kind of like, yeah, this is what you're going to do.
So how did you take to throwing right away?
It wasn't too bad, honestly. Like I ended up, throwing it like a couple of our varsity meets, like our conference championship meets, like as a sophomore.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it was okay. Like, I mean, I didn't do anything great, but like it was up there enough or whatever. And I think like the head coach at the time realized that like, okay, like these guys could be decent by the time they're done. So we wanted to kind of try to get us that experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, by the time I was done, I did all right. Ended up, I think my senior year took second at our conference championships in the disc. So it wasn't too bad. I never made it to state or anything. I mean, the high school system set up where you have a regional meet, a sectional meet, and then the state meet. I didn't make it out of regionals ever. But, I did all right for myself, I feel like.
I would imagine there's pretty high competition in track.
Right, yeah, they're definitely.
events,
like
yeah.
I know, and it's always the high school system's kind of weird like that because depending on what regional that you're in, like it can be totally different. Like some
I
regionals
suppose, yeah.
just like have awful competition. Like you can get to advance with a much lesser throw. But yeah, I know the regional that year I had, like I didn't throw well at that regional. I threw like good, like 10 feet under my personal best, but like I like took like 9th at that regional.
Oh, really?
Whereas like even with that throw, like at some other regionals, different divisions, I would have been, regional champion probably. So it's just luck of the draw kind of.
So you did shot and discus?
Yep.
Did you prefer one over the other?
When I first started off, like I liked shot more, I think because it was a little bit like kind of simpler to pick up. You're just kind of like heaving this heavy ball a little bit. It makes a little bit more sense. But as I figured out stuff, like I took to disc a lot more, a little bit, I think.
Yeah, it does seem more technical.
It is, yeah. It's definitely you just can't just wing it quite
Right.
as hard. You have to kind of hit positions. There's more aerodynamics to it and everything. But yeah.
Have you ever seen any disasters with throwing? People getting hit? Cars losing windshields?
Right,
anything?
yeah, I have seen a few things. Thankfully, like nothing like awful, like
That's good.
fatal, because every once in a while there was just like a few, like a month or something ago, some guy out in Colorado like ended up dying at a competition. 'Cause
Really?
He got like hit by a weight, which is the like indoor version of the hammer at a meet.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, so I mean, it does happen, but I think the worst that I've seen definitely some examples of property destruction. I don't think I've ever seen a car actually get hit. I've heard the stories of it, but I did see like one of my guys threw a hammer. I mean, and this is partially due to the people that set up this facility because they wouldn't have like, the throwing sector is out there, and then like about like 15 feet outside of the right sector line is a parking lot. So it's like, okay, somebody
That's
didn't think
pretty
this
close.
through really
Yeah.
well. Yeah, and he like managed to go and wing one out that direction, and it like landed in the parking lot and left a dent in the asphalt. Thankfully, no one was parked there that day. But yeah, it was a few years back. We were doing an indoor meet at UWSP, and like one of my women throwers threw the weight. So it's a 20-pound weight for women in college. And she just kind of like chucked it out of the left sector or whatever. And there's this guy standing like against this wall where he really shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
And he like thankfully kind of saw what was coming, and like he ends up like catching it like right in his chest or whatever. He's just standing there and he's just like, oh yeah, I'll just put this down. Like I'm fine. I was like, dude, you're not
fine. No.
So I look later and he's like sitting up in the stands, just kind of like hunched over. I was like, yeah, just go get that
Hemorrhaging
checked out.
internally?
Yeah, it's just like that is like literally like a cannonball that's coming at you. It's just
my
like,
God.
yeah, yeah, no, definitely some close calls, but
Yeah.
thankfully nothing nothing really severe.
Wow, that is wild.
Yeah.
Okay, let's pause on athletics for a moment.
Sure.
How did you do academically in high school?
Yeah, pretty good for the most part. I would say it wasn't for me, as long as I applied myself, like I could probably get an A in just about any class that I wanted to.
Came pretty easy to you.
Yeah, I mean, I went. Yeah, if I applied myself, the problem is that like sometimes I just didn't have the interest in certain classes, like math classes, like really like. I kind of liked math classes, figuring out different things, but then like I just didn't have the patience for it. A lot of the times I was just like, yeah, whatever. But yeah, I mean, I was more of a social sciences guy. History was kind of my big thing. But even like chemistry at one point too, like I thought maybe like I was going to be a chemistry major going into college, because like that was another kind of like, I talk about applying myself. That was like probably the best example of that. It was my junior year that I had chemistry in high school, and I think, like halfway through like that first semester of it, I was like rocking like a B- or something. I was just like, okay, this is dumb. Like I'm better. I was like, I'm gonna try or whatever. And then by the time that semester ended, it was like over 100% in the class, because the teacher would put like extra credit stuff in there sometimes, and I would just like do all this stuff, and so I was like, okay, I can do that. And then eventually, I think I just got bored with it again, so I just like went back to my previous like effort level, and I was back down to like a B. And then like she's like, "Are you okay? Is everything all right at home?" I was like, "Yeah, no, I'm fine. I
just lost interest.
Yeah, I just lost interest again. I proved I could do this. I just don't care."
Wow.
So. I don't know. Yeah, it was fine. Like I forget what my GPA in high school would have been, probably like 3.5 or something like that. It was good. Mostly weighted by those social sciences, But I like the sciences too. It was overall, I'd say I enjoyed the academic side of high school.
Yeah. So then it was easy for you to get into college, I would imagine.
Yeah, it wasn't any problem.
Where'd you go?
Here.
So, you did?
Yeah, UWSP.
What year were you a freshman?
So 2003, 2004 would have been my first year. So. Yeah, I mean, I didn't have any problems getting in here. I didn't really apply anywhere else. I was looking to get into secondary education, be a history teacher, because that was kind of like my biggest thing that I liked in high school. So, yeah, I was just like, yeah, point works, checks off all the boxes for that. So I was like, I didn't really have any desire to like get farther away from home. Like, actually, I think I kind of liked being closer to home.
So your undergraduate degree was in history?
Yep.
Or
history and Broadfield social science, because I was going to go that education
So you were
route.
set up to be a teacher then.
Right, yep.
Yeah. And did you come here for sports too?
Yeah, it was funny, like, because if I was going to do a sport in college, I always figured it was going to be football, because I was like, I was decent at football, not great, but like I came to a camp that they host or whatever before my senior year for football. Yeah, and like they were in contact with me a little bit after that. Like, they had like some passing interest or whatever. Yeah. I don't know if I probably, looking back at it, I doubt I would have played much at all ever here, given, what we did in high school. But yeah, I was just like, it would be fun. It's kind of like, that structure that you get as an athlete. That's something that I was like, I kind of wanted to keep or whatever, because it's going to be kind of foreign to me not to have that.
Yeah.
But it wasn't kind of until like that senior year of track for me, or like right at the end of my high school career, where like I started to get, halfway decent at discus. I was like, okay, maybe I could do track in college. And like I started to look at it. I was like, oh, what the heck? I'll go and fill out the recruit form or whatever.
Yeah.
So I filled that out, and I heard nothing. And I was like, okay. So I was like, all right, there's my answer. I guess I'm not good enough. So I just kind of came into college thinking like, and by that point, like the football ship had kind of sailed already too. Like I didn't really want to pursue that necessarily. So I was just like, I came to school my freshman year thinking like, okay, I'm just going to be a student. I'm just going to do that. And it was about like a week into my freshman year, like I get a email from the track coach, like just not to me individually, just like I'm on the email list for the team. And I was just like that would have been nice if you could have told me that you're just going to put me on the email list. So I went through the whole
That's
summer.
That's kind of weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it is what it is. I get it now. I mean, like, because they get a lot of people like reaching out for stuff. So I'm sure he's like, okay, yeah, I'll just toss you on the list, and maybe he meant to reach out to me and forgot. I don't know,
that's true.
Yeah, it was just kind of funny because I spent like a good portion of that summer like, oh man, I was just kind of a failure. I wasn't good enough to do college track, but then
you could have been like practicing or
something, right? Yeah. I mean, I probably would have been like taking some training a little more seriously there, whereas I just kind of like, whatever. Yeah, so like I ended up being on the track team in college.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. just kind of random. Like if you wouldn't put me on that email list, I don't know if I would have like pursued it any further. Honestly, so it's just kind of lucky that he did.
It is. Wow, that's serendipitous. So you played all 4 years track?
Yeah. Yep.
Is it called playing? That sounds funny.
Yeah, I think, I don't know. Yeah.
Participate?
Participate. Yeah. Compete. Yeah.
Compete.
I
yeah,
think it's
that's
probably
better.
the best word. Yeah.
Okay. All 4 years?
Yeah, actually, it ended up being 5 years.
Okay.
Because I ended up, I was here for 5 years. And then it was my freshman year, like before the outdoors, because there's indoor and outdoor seasons. So they're totally different things in terms of eligibility. So I did my indoor season, and then before the outdoor season started, the head coach came up to me and was like, basically like the polite way of saying, like, you're not very good, so we're just going to redshirt you. It's like, you're probably going to be here for 5 years with education anyway. Like, we'll just go and like have you around for that 5th year, like, give you an extra year to develop. So like, okay, sure.
Can you explain red shirt?
So basically you go and like you are not on the active roster or anything. You don't compete.
You're like
for the
practice
team.
squad?
Basically, that's essentially it. Yeah.
Okay.
And they don't do that at Division III anymore. Like, I was one of the last people that probably got that official red shirt, because like as a red shirt, like you can still practice, do everything officially with the team. You just don't compete.
Okay.
But they got rid of that. I think it was some of the private schools in D3, like, they figured that that's like kind of unfair advantage that state schools could have, because we have lower tuition overall. So it's like easier for people at a state school to potentially stick around for that 5th year, as opposed to paying whatever a private school is going to have.
Oh, sure.
So eventually they got rid of that. Like, you still have people do it, but now they kind of call it like gray shirting. It's like kind of an unofficial type thing. It's like you're not supposed to be at practice at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't know how much that, is actually adhered to or anything.
Right.
But you're not supposed to be officially practicing with the team, basically. You can just not compete and save that eligibility. So,
okay.
yeah.
There's so many.
It's a whole different world. Yeah,
it is. It
right.
really is.
Yeah.
And then you graduated after your 5th year.
Yeah.
And what did you do after graduation?
Yeah, so I ended up, again, because I was going to go and get into education. That was my thought or whatever. And I actually ended up like going through about half of the student teaching process. And actually student taught in town at Pacelli High School. Had a pretty good teacher. He's kind of old school, just like, lecture to the kids and whatever. So, I was doing that or whatever, and it wasn't too bad. And then eventually, like, I had whoever my advisor was from the School of Ed come and like observe me and basically just tore me down completely. Like, oh,
really?
Like, you're like, oh, this was just awful. Like, like you're not doing any of this or whatever. I think we're gonna have to make you like stick around here longer. Like, maybe do this again like the next semester.
Gosh.
And I was just like, man. At that point too, like I liked teaching, but like at the same time, I also kind of had some of those days, like just the classroom management was just like not my vibe. Really, it was just like a lot of these kids don't necessarily want to be here. Some days it was kind of just a struggle to have that motivation to really teach. I mean, the kids that wanted to learn, absolutely. I love that. But so it was kind of at that point, then I just kind of did some soul searching with it. And I was just like, okay, I was like, I don't know if this is necessarily the route that I really want to go and lock myself in for the next 40 years of my life. So I ended up just kind of bailing out on my student teaching after that first chunk of the assignment was done. And I was just like, thanks, no thanks. I'm just going to graduate with my history degree and kind of see where life takes me. So yeah, I ended up kind of bouncing around a little bit, just trying to stay afloat for a while. I ended up working security for a while for Travel Guard.
Oh, sure.
It was right when they were building that new building out in the Crossroad Commons. So I was like doing overnight security shifts in this empty building, which was cool and also like really terrifying at times as well. So yeah, I kind of bounced around doing that for like, that was probably until like September, October, I think, of that year after I graduated. And then eventually I was always looking for different jobs because working overnight security was not my like end goal.
Your
in life,
passion.
obviously. No, not by any means. So I ended up, there was a job posting I saw for a library director for this small public library in Vesper, Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, the size of that library is no bigger than the archives itself, basically. It's just a tiny, small town library. So just kind of like, I was like, well, yeah, I mean, that sounds better than working security. I was like, So I applied for it, and like I surprisingly got an interview. I was like, okay. And then kind of went through that process, and they're like, yeah, we'll take you on or whatever. And I was like, okay.
And you had zero library experience?
And I soon realized, like, why I was able to get that, because like it was only a part-time position. So it was like 20 to 24 hours a week. And you're responsible for everything with the library, which is just like,
and you have no experience cataloging. You have no experience,
right? Yeah, no. I mean, they had a library
crazy.
assistant there that kind of knew some of that stuff.
Oh, okay,
but otherwise, yeah, like you're kind of in charge of like programming ordering stuff, just running the library itself, maintenance, like cleaning stuff, just all this stuff. And then the real fun part for me was like dealing with the small town politics that were out there too, with library board meetings and going to like village board meetings and stuff. And like these people, I mean, some really nice people, but they also just love to snipe at each other at these meetings.
Oh, sure.
I was just like, man, this is just kind of a crazy environment.
Is it funded by the village or the town? Yeah.
Yeah, so it's funded by the village. Yeah, so you guys like constantly had, and it was just, small town stuff. Like I think there was one time like I pulled in like 2 minutes late on a Saturday morning, and then I got an email later in the day from like the director or something. Well, somebody said you were late to work this morning. I was like, oh, wow, who was watching? Like nobody was there. So, and it was fine. Like again, there was a lot of good stuff with that, and definitely kind of like it sparked me like that libraries were something that I wanted to do. So, yeah, I mean, I ended up only being in that position for about, I think 4 months total. But yeah, it kind of sparked my desire to be in the library field. And like that was when I made the decision to go and like apply for library school, because I was like, okay, like I realized like if I want to make this a career, like I'm going to have to get that degree if I want to get like the type of job that I would like to have.
Was there a specific aspect of that job that you liked more than?
I think just, interacting with the people. I think kind of the customer service portion of it, just some of the regulars that would come in. Like the library assistant that worked with me, her son would come in a lot after school or whatever, and he'd just like hang out on the computers, and I got to like know him a bit and just kind of hang out with him.
Libraries definitely have regulars, don't
right?
They?
Oh, absolutely.
Like anywhere else, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I just kind of hung around with that, and then it was about 4 months after that. Then there was a position open at the Portage County Public Library that was going to be, obviously I wasn't having to transfer myself out to Vesper every day, which at that point just was.
Were you driving from Point?
Yeah. So it's not the longest drive, but like it, I wasn't making. I think it was like about $11 an hour I was making at that point for 20 hours a week. By the time I started to factor in the gas money on top of that, I was like, man, I'm not really getting that far ahead with this. So yeah, when I was able to get apply for a job that's right in Stevens Point for about the same amount of hours. I mean, I think at that time the pay was slightly less, but I was like, I'm going to be able to ride my bike to work.
You're still saving, yeah.
Right. So, then I ended up making that jump eventually.
What position was that?
Circulation aide at the library. So just kind of that base level, entry level circulation
Working on the
position.
first floor.
Yep.
Checking in books.
Shelving stuff, doing other random tasks as kind of assigned to you. But yeah.
Are you coaching at this time or not?
I wasn't at the university yet. So, I mean, that's actually kind of like, we're going to kind of circle back into that a little bit. I got into coaching initially through my student teaching at Pacelli. So it's just kind of funny too, the way some of these things kind of tie together.
Right.
Yeah. Like if I hadn't done that, like I wouldn't have gotten roped into coaching at first. So I ended up coaching at Pacelli High School for like 3 or 4 years before I got into at the university.
And you got into that because you were on the Pacelli campus and people knew.
Right. Yeah.
That
basically,
you were
like they knew that I did track at UWSP, and they're like, hey, like, they're looking for a throws coach or whatever.
Wow.
I was like, oh, sure. I was like, that sounds like fun. I always thought maybe I'd like to coach someday. So like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. So I did that for a couple of years, and then it was like later on, I want to say 2012. So the fall of 2011 was when I first started coaching at the university. Like they're trying to get somebody to come in because they had just kind of been cycling through coaches a little bit. There was a longtime coach who was there like when I was on the team, and he threw for the team back in the 70s.
Oh, wow.
And he coached like from the 80s, like up until that time or whatever. But he had a lot of health issues that kind of cropped up towards the end. And then like he ended up passing away in 2011, I think.
Oh my gosh.
So then it was like, they kind of cycled through some alumni that came in to help coach or whatever. And like, I was kind of like the next on the list or whatever. And I was like, it's like, man, I knew how much time commitment was going to be. I was like, all right, I can come like a couple days a week or whatever.
Yeah.
And like pretty soon that turned into me being there most of the days, but yeah.
Wow. Okay. So this is going to be hard for me to keep this timeline going straight.
Right. It's kind of crazy. I agree.
So you're at the entry level at the public library.
Yeah.
What year is this?
So that is February of 2010 is when I started there. So yeah.
And then how long did you do that position?
So that was a little over like 4.5 years, because I started at the university in October of 2014. So yeah, that would have been about 2.5 or 4.5 total years at the public library.
Okay, so you're coaching and doing the public library.
Yeah,
at the same
and
time.
like kind of juggling schedules there as much as I could. A lot of times, like I would do some kind of like schedule shenanigans with that, like because eventually I ended up working in like the reference department at the public library too. There was an LTE position, so I was kind of like doing my 20 or 24 hour a week circ aid position. But then going and throwing in like 16 or 20 hours, depending on what it was at the reference desk as well, like working in interlibrary loan as well, just to, because at that point, I was like, yeah, give me the money. Like,
right.
I need as much as I can
take
get
more
here.
hours, yeah.
Right, absolutely. So there was a lot of days, like if I wanted to coach, like I would go and like work 8 to 1, and then I would come back and work 5 to 8 for like the close, and then I'd be able to go and coach from like 3 until like 4:45, and then like sit back to the library quick. So
Yeah, because I suppose there's specific times you have to coach.
Right, yeah. It's typically that 3 to 5 block.
Yeah.
When it was at the high school, absolutely. And then, at the college, that's when we have our indoor facility reserved. That's kind of like when we have to practice. Outside, you can kind of get away with different times, but typically 3 to 5.
And then at the public library, what'd you do in the reference department? What kind of stuff was
Yeah,
that?
so I mean, I just worked like the reference desk itself, which is just like a very
Answering questions.
Yeah, very interesting job. I mean, you get the full gamut of like questions at that desk. But then I worked doing a lot of interlibrary loan processing, as well, and then kind of just like random projects, kind of as is. I think I ended up teaching like a couple of basic technology classes too, just for like people to like learn how to use Word or the internet, stuff like that. So kind of it was nice. It was a little bit more of that variety that I wasn't necessarily going to get as much working in circulation all the time. But yeah.
And then the job opened up at UWSP?
Yeah. So it was actually like the third time that I applied to try to get a job here. Because I mean, the competition was always like really fierce to get a job here at the university library. So I think there was like a couple. There was one job that came open in, I think, acquisitions or something. It might honestly be like, I think Melissa's job, probably. Honestly,
yeah.
And if I remember the timeline right, I think she was already here as an LTE, so obviously she was going to be the first one for that. So I totally understood that one.
Yeah.
Then I think it was my position that I ended up getting was open like a year before I actually got it. So I applied again then, and I didn't make it through. And like learning, I think actually like it was Troy that ended up in the position that time. So I was like, all right, so that makes sense.
That's funny.
Right. And then finally, like, I think he like ended up moving into like the interlibrary loan position, and that position came open again. And then that time, like I finally made it through.
And what was that position?
It was, at that time it was, God, I'm trying to remember what it was actually called. That position got relabeled like 3 or 4 different times when I was in it. I forget what the actual title was, but it was large part of it was working in the IMC, kind of like helping people in the Instructional Materials Center. But that was back when 3D printing was really big for us as well. So I kind of got just tasked to go and like kind of handle that. And then I did a lot of digitization.
I was just going to ask about that. Yep. You didn't do course reserves? Did you do that?
I did. Eventually I got into that.
You did?
That was not like the initial crux of that job.
Okay.
So like I think that was later on as like people moved on and like we realized
shifting around,
right, we weren't going to go and get budget to go and rehire these positions. Like that was one of those things that I kind of just absorbed into it, and I was like, yeah, sure, I don't care. Like,
I can
job
do that.
Security, I'm fine with that.
So you did. Was your next job then faculty?
Yeah, my next official job, because I mean that was the same position throughout all the years. It just kind of morphed and evolved or whatever into the point. I mean, where I started off just working with the 3D printer and doing like stuff in the IMC. Like by the time I was done, by that point, even like the 3D printing had kind of phased out or whatever because we just never had the space to really set up a thing for it. And like I had to take on other stuff. I took on the course reserves. Then I ended up taking on like more of like the kind of like information system type stuff, like supporting stuff with that, databases, easy proxy, all that fun stuff like that. I started to take on more of that when Terry Moraski was around and she was my supervisor. I kind of started to learn some of that stuff. So by the end there, like my position looked absolutely nothing like what it was.
Started.
Yeah, and then I was doing reference desk shifts as well. Like that was something that fairly early on, like I volunteered. I was like, I worked reference at the public library. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I can probably handle it here if I can handle some of the questions I got there. So,
so you worked in that position for how many years before Terry left?
So let's see, 2014, and then it was until 2023 in June when I officially transferred into that faculty position. So again, 8.5 years probably.
Oh wow, that's quite a stretch.
Yeah.
And then Terry Moraski retires, and that position opens up, and that's the one you applied for.
Right, yeah. And that went through some hoops, too, or whatever. I think it was like 2 different times that they actually ended up posting that job, and like, it was just different kind of administrative things or whatever, like the way it was going to be posted.
Yeah.
They initially tried to tie it into a fellowship or something or whatever. Which
that's right. Yes.
Which it was then like, in looking at the job description, is like, yeah, this is just like, like a thing that's just kind of not really guaranteed beyond whatever. And I'm kind of I was like, geez, I don't know. It's like,
did you apply for it when it was that title?
I think I initially applied for it, and then they did something like I don't know, they failed to search for some reason. I forget exactly why. And then they did it again. And then I was just like, no, I was like, and the more I think about it, I was like, I don't know if I really want to move into something that's like tied to this fellowship necessarily. Right. Like, job security with that doesn't seem, because it was a little bit more, I feel like we stabilized a little bit more now, but like at that point I was like, it's like, man, I have something here that I know is going to be around. Like, I got a lot of stuff. Like, I don't think I'm going to get cut in my current position. So maybe I'm better off just hanging on to that.
Yeah.
And then, I think it went through like another iteration where they did it as like an academic staff position. And then I think they went and finally reposted it as like the faculty position. And like, I was like, all right, fine, I'll do it again. And then, I kind of went through that process, and I emerged at the end victorious, I guess you could say.
So the new position is systems librarian, is that right? Correct,
yeah.
And what does that mean?
Like I tell people when I go and teach classes or whatever, I feel like I'm kind of the library IT guy, if I just kind of break it down like to the simplest terms. There's a lot more that goes into it than that. I was just like kind of, having the overarching responsibility for all of the library systems, whether it's, circulation stuff through Alma or databases, any of that type of stuff. But a lot of other stuff goes into that as well. Doing some instruction. I taught a section of Library Resources 101 this fall. I teach, a couple of classes per semester, like doing bibliographic instruction, to classes. Otherwise, then to
how'd you take to teaching?
I mean, it was pretty natural to me. I feel like, again, like I wasn't opposed to getting into teaching if we go back to like, what I was looking to do in college.
Right.
And then I think too, with all the coaching that I've done too, like that's just kind of like naturally made it like something that I'm fairly comfortable with.
That's good.
So I mean, it's a little bit different. It's a 1 credit asynchronous online class. So it's not like the traditional classroom setting, but it was fun. I didn't have any real problems with it. I enjoyed it.
That's good. Let's go back to your coaching then for a minute.
Yeah, sure.
You're still doing that?
That's correct, yeah.
I read your bio on the athletics page.
Sure.
And my goodness, are you an accomplished over 20 years of throws experience? I don't know if this is up to date.
I mean, that was just as of like a year ago, I think. So I think it's mostly up to date.
So you're on maybe your 15th season as coach?
At the university, I think this is year 14, I think. And then if you go and combine, like, when I coach at Pacelli and just like, I think the 20 years throws experience counts just like my time as a thrower as well too. So,
okay.
But, I mean, definitely like 17 years of throws or coaching experience at this point.
And you've had a lot of student athletes that have achieved national qualifying performances or championships.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to go and toot my own horn. I mean, I feel like I do a decent job, but honestly, a lot of it comes down to the athletes. Like I've had the luck to go and work with a lot of people that are really talented and like really hard workers. So that makes me look a lot better than I probably should. But yeah, I mean, it's been fairly successful. I mean, I mean, we've broken, I don't know how many of the school records since I started here.
Really?
Actually, just like 2 weeks ago, one of my guys broke the indoor shot put record that stood for 51 years.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, so it was like the guy that coached me when I was on the team, the guy that I talked about, like threw back in the 70s. Like, he set that record back in 1974, and like we just finally broke it in 2025.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it's been fun.
So when these guys or girls go to nationals,
sure.
Do you go with them? And
yeah.
What is that like?
Yeah.
Where are they held?
Fun. Yeah. I mean, it can be all over the place. It can be, my first year coaching, my first national meet that I went to was out in California. So that was like kind of nice. So it was just outside of LA. So that was kind of a cool experience, but otherwise it can be stuff like been to like Iowa a couple times, so it can be scenic, California. I mean, last season our outdoor championships were at Myrtle Beach, actually, and like the track is like literally like 3 blocks away from the ocean.
Oh my gosh!
And then otherwise we're like in Grinnell, Iowa, or something like that, or like I think outdoor championships are just outside of like Cleveland in Ohio this
Oh,
year,
yeah.
so not nearly quite as scenic, but
Not very glamorous. But
not
that's
really,
okay.
no. But it's just kind of interesting. I've been,
It's got to be cool seeing the best athletes though in the country.
It is for
watching
sure.
them perform.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I mean, our conference is probably the best conference in Division III. So I mean, a lot of the people that we see at the championships are the people we see week in, week out.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, just to give you an example right now. So like my guy that broke the school record, he's currently ranked 6th, I think, in Division III in men's shot put. But there's 2 guys for our conference right in front of him. So it's just like,
Oh, wow.
6th in the nation, but 3rd in your conference.
Yeah.
So it's always tough.
That's what you were saying earlier about like high school conferences too. Is
Right.
It all depends on where you fall.
Right. Absolutely. Totally.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the systems you deal with,
Right.
that's also systems. So like things controlled by UW system.
Correct.
Right. Not just ones we purchase.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say a lot of, and I'm really grateful that we have the situation that we do, the consortium that we're a part of. We get a lot of guidance from the UW system on stuff that we're going to do. And like if I have questions on stuff, I have a lot of people that I can reach out to at the system level that are going to be pretty knowledgeable in that. So it's like I'm not kind of on an island there trying to figure it out myself necessarily.
Right. Yeah,
So
that's nice.
yeah, we all really rely on each other as a system.
How much of your day is spent dealing with like problems? Like it's got to be
Yeah.
quite a bit.
I mean, it depends on the day. I mean, there's some day. I mean, there'll be like stretches for like everything is just like fine for like weeks at a time or whatever, and then
it all hits the fan.
Right? Yeah. And then like one day like all of a sudden like my phone is just buzzing before I even get in. I'm just like, oh god, it's like something's broken. Yeah. So it really depends. Like some days like it's just it can be crazy. It's just kind of like things just kind of cascade with each other, but like. For the most part, it's not probably as scary as people would think it would
Yeah.
be. I mean, at least I haven't hit that yet. I mean, I got to preface that I've only been in the position for a year and a half ish at this point. So
I'd be terrified that like the library catalog went down, at midnight, and now nobody can use it.
Oh, no, actually, now that you mentioned that reminds me of something that I did this to myself actually during the fall. We were trying to go and there's what was it? This thing with the loan history thing that we're going through, or whatever,
Oh,
where
yeah.
it's gonna anonymize loan history. So we're
Yep.
basically trying to go and put in like a thing into Primo, like the online catalog type thing that everybody looks at, just kind of a notification going and showing like, okay, just be aware of this and like you can go and opt into this, et cetera, et cetera. So as part of that, like I had to kind of go and like insert stuff into the CSS, for the the front-facing portion of that Primo instance or whatever for us, basically just to make the stuff that customizes it and makes it look like UWSP as opposed to like the base
Sure.
product from Ex Libris.
Yep.
Yeah, so I went and did that like before I left for work for the day. I was like, okay, looks good. Then like the next morning, I get an email. It's like, yeah, a lot of these links aren't showing up or whatever to like download like articles like they're supposed to. I was like, okay, and I go in there and like it's like the base like level thing, like all our customization is gone. And I was just like, oh god. I was like, what did I do?
Destroyed the whole system.
I was like, oh man, like, I'm just gonna have to like call in the cavalry from system on this. I have no idea what I did, but basically, I was able to like kind of calm myself down a little bit and look at things, and like I realized that I had to click like save like one more time on the changes I was making. Yeah, and once I did that, then everything applied and it was back to normal. But like I had basically just like I didn't save some of the changes, so it reverted back to like this base level thing, and like all of our download links for articles were gone. And it was like just like this gray and blue instead of like the purple and yellow that we're supposed to have.
Yeah, that would terrify.
Right? Yeah. So it's like, oh man. So it can be terrifying.
Yeah.
At times.
What do you do for fun?
Yeah, I mean, I think I mentioned before, like I do like to go golfing like during the summer, so that's like a nice way for me to kind of relax. Although, like depending on the day, that may not necessarily be as relaxing as I'd like it to be. I mean,
it can be frustrating.
Going back to my athletics background, like I try to just go out for fun, but I'm also like
competitive.
Yeah, right. I want to do as best I can every time I'm out there. So like I've gotten pretty good over the years, just realizing some days like it just ain't happening. It's like, okay, we're just gonna have fun today. But yeah, so I think for me more so it's just fun to get out and just kind of walk through. Not that golf course is nature in the truest sense, but like you're still kind of out in the trees and whatnot. Just kind of
it is relaxing when you can.
Yeah, so like I like to do that a bunch. otherwise too, just like to get out and kind of like do hiking stuff. During the summer, we like to go camping, that sort of stuff. Just kind of getting out in nature, just kind of, I would say unplugging from,
Yeah.
the day-to-day life and screens and whatnot for a little bit. Just sometimes just sit in my backyard, have a fire, and have a couple beers.
Right.
Call it good.
Do you take any big trips? Do you ever go to Europe or anything?
No, I've never been out of the country
No?
for anything. Last August, my wife and I and our daughter, we went down to Disney World in Florida, actually.
Oh,
So that
nice.
was like a bigger trip, and I think we're going to do that again in August or whatever. Just, mostly, for my daughter's sake, 'cause she just enjoyed it so much.
Yeah.
She's at that age where she's old enough where she can like kind of do everything and doesn't have to be like kind of hauled around.
Yeah.
But she's still young enough to like really just get into all of that. So I think we'll do that again.
Was
just
that place crazy
Yeah, it definitely can be.
and crazy expensive?
Yeah, it's not cheap by any means.
Yeah.
But
But worth it.
it was fun. Yeah, definitely. It's just, it depends on how much stuff you want to do. Like, just for an example, like if I wanted to get a beer at a random place, you're like $15 a beer.
jeez.
So I'm like,
Okay.
okay, it looks like I'll just wait till I'm back home.
Yeah.
But but otherwise, it's not cheap, but it's also like not.
You kind of expect it.
Right.
You're at a tourist trap.
Right, exactly, yeah. So it's kind of like one of those things. Like it's like, okay, we just have to like bite the bullet. Like it is what it is. for
Yeah.
now.
Plan ahead.
Right, exactly. So yeah, I would say those are probably the bigger trips that we've done recently. Yeah, I know. I think we have like ideas to go and like do more like kind of exotic camping type stuff, or like I know we want to go out to like the West Coast sometime, like go and like see like redwood forest stuff like
Yeah.
that. Pacific Northwest, stuff like that. I know like my wife and daughter, they actually went with my mother-in-law like a couple summers ago and drove out to the Badlands in South Dakota.
Oh, we went there
yeah.
just a few years ago too.
Yeah, so they kind of did a girls trip out there one time when I was off doing something else too.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I kind of like to try to get out and about and do some things, kind of live
Yeah.
life a little bit. But
It's hard. You must be busy though with coaching. And do you coach over summer too?
no, thank God, no.
Okay.
The season for me kind of runs through. We start practicing a little bit in September, even like a couple of days a week, and then it really ramps up to full time by November, and then November through the end of May, it's pretty much kind of a full time.
So
thing.
is indoors over summer or over winter?
Yep.
I would imagine. So how do the seasons break down? Is it
Yeah, so the indoor season, the competitive season runs from January until the middle of March. Like this year, the national championships are on I think March 14th and 15th, I think. And then the outdoor season starts like 2 weeks after that, depending on weather,
wow?
of course.
So it's
but-
just back to back.
Yeah, like you got spring break for a week. Everybody kind of gets to take a deep breath and then
Yeah.
it's like back into it. So it's a kind of a marathon.
Do the indoor athletes do the outdoor,
Yeah, pretty much.
or
yeah,
are there people that only do indoor?
I would say there's more so we have
Outdoor.
people that only do outdoor because there's more throwing events available for outdoor. So like right now I have a girl who's actually she's a grad student. She graduated with her bachelor's degree this past spring, but she during COVID, we ran into all sorts of eligibility things. Where
I bet.
all these people have like extra years of eligibility because like we had our outdoor season canceled during 2020, and then the following year, like we had a full season kind of, but they didn't charge anyone any eligibility for it because like they had no idea what was going to happen with COVID. So, so you got a lot of people. There's actually like some people from other schools right now that are going to be back this spring with like 6 years of eligibility.
Really?
Like it's like I was like, all right, I guess if that extra money is worth it to compete another year, that's up
Right.
to you. But but in her example, she was going to do grad school here anyway, so she had the chance to use that last year of eligibility. But she only does discus and javelin, which are outdoor events, so she's not throwing indoors for us right now. She's just kind of practicing, and then she'll be back for outdoor.
At the college level, you do javelin and hammer.
Javelin and hammer, yeah.
Okay.
And then indoors, there's also the weight throw, which is like the indoor version of the hammer. So it's the hammer is like about 4 feet long in total and weighs for the guys 16 pounds. It's basically the same weight as the shot put for both sexes, but the weight is like only, I want to say like 16 inches long, but like the guys weighs 35 pounds and the women's weighs 20. So
my
it's like
gosh.
it's shorter, heavier, and doesn't go nearly as far. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And I'm guessing javelin isn't done inside.
No. Yeah, that would be, oh God.
That'd be wild.
Right, yeah. So, yeah, because that can go really far depending. I mean, our conference isn't like the best in javelin. I mean, because we're kind of in the frozen wasteland. So a lot of times, like,
Yeah.
they can't even practice javelin until, like, halfway through the outdoor season if the ground hasn't thawed enough.
Oh, wow.
But, yeah, I mean, I've seen at the national championships for Division III, like, guys throw, I think, north of 70 meters, which is like 230 something
Oh
feet.
my
I think.
gosh.
So it's like, yeah, it's pretty
That
good.
is far.
Yeah.
Do you recruit
Yeah. Yeah. So it's,
personally?
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's part of, within reason. I mean, because obviously at some point, like, I can't do all of this stuff, but like when we
Right.
have recruits come in, yeah, I'm trying to go and schedule time to meet with them personally. Otherwise,
Do you go to high schools and look for people?
Not really. No, not so much. I mean, I would love the opportunity to probably go to like some
That's
high
gotta
school
be so
meets.
time consuming.
Right, yeah, to go to a high school meet and like actually like see people throw, but like that's right during our season too.
Right.
So it's like, what do I do? Coach my own people or go recruit the next
You
generation?
got to hire an assistant. So.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing. Like, there's not a whole lot of money in track.
Right.
So, but yeah. So I mean, I do recruit people. Yeah. It's usually just like texting them like once they reach out to us or we reach out to them on social media, stuff like that.
So they reach out to you, and I'm guessing they say, "Hey, I'm interested. These are my stats." Do you do follow up to make sure they're not lying to you, or
Right. I mean, that's kind of the nice thing now is like it's all really easily verifiable. Like the results
look up newspaper
are all,
articles? And,
Yeah, I mean, there's like reporting systems online or whatever.
Oh,
so
sure.
it's like it's a lot more like you either did this or not. It's pretty easy to tell.
people send in film?
Yeah, they can absolutely. A lot of people are Instagram is a big thing right now in the recruiting world. So like a lot of these students go and put their film on their Instagram profile, and then we go and kind of like that's kind of our first way of like going and
Wow.
seeing what they look like. Go and like check out their Instagram and
Yeah.
see what they have posted.
It's so funny because the last time I was like involved in sports was like 1998. So
Sure.
I'm still living in. You make a VHS tape.
Right. Oh yeah, I know. I remember that. Yeah, when I was in high school, I remember like a buddy of mine that I threw with, and he was on the team as well. Like I think was it Winona State in Minnesota was
Yeah.
interested in him for football or whatever, so he had to go and like get a copy of like our game film, like VHS, and
Yeah.
like, physically send that to them so they could go and like watch this grainy film to go and like see what he looked
Right.
like. So yeah, absolutely, it's a whole different world.
Well, I think that's all I got.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.